General Motors is one of the biggest companies in the world and has manufactured more cars, trucks and vans than any other manufacturer for the last 76 years running. They own brands like Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, GMC, Hummer, Opel, Pontiac, Saab, Saturn and Vauxhall Motors, which are manufactured in their factory in Luton.
I am the plant director of General Motors Manufacturing Luton Assembly Plant. What I do, well, what I'm responsible for first and foremost is safety. Safety of our people. Everybody in my plant and every visitor to my plant is making sure that everyone is safe. So that is first and foremost my priority. Developing people is another key part of my job, and then also setting up the strategy for the plant for the future and how we're going to be a sustainable business. So our plant's mission is to be a sustainable business by producing the best commercial vehicle in Europe. And we do produce a fantastic vehicle.
I'm responsible for internal communications and employee engagement throughout the whole of the organisation in the UK and Ireland. And that's around 9 different locations, from plants to design centres to our corporate head office.
Fiona Collins, Business Development Manager for Vauxhall Motors. So Business Development Manager, what does that entail? It basically means I look after a team of people who liaise with our retailers, who is the outlet where if you're going to go and buy a car or get a car serviced is where you'd go. And we work with them just to make sure that the customer experience is good and also that they're maximising sales.
The motor industry can evoke images of grease and oil, heavy machinery and high-tech production lines. There's no reason why women shouldn't fit into that stereotype.
The brands that we sell in the UK are Vauxhall, which is our best well-known brand, but we also sell Saab and Chevrolet, and more recently we've introduced Cadillac, Corvette and Hummer into our range, and we also represent Opel in Ireland. So that's a huge range of different cars, from value at the Chevrolet end to real premium at the Cadillac and Hummer end, which is the cars that are bought mainly by rock stars and football players. General Motors globally design and engineer vehicles. We focus on cars and vans and trucks, particularly in the States, not the trucks that we sell here in the UK. We also sell and market those vehicles through a network of dealers. So we cover all of the head office functions here: purchasing, finance, HR, marketing, and we have a huge sales force that sell to the different types of customers, to the retailers, to the fleet customers. We also have a design centre in Coventry in the UK, but the design is done globally. So work that's done in Detroit or Coventry or Rüsselsheim in Germany is then used across different platforms throughout the whole of the GM family. So it's a real global organisation.
There is a shortage of engineering graduates coming out of UK universities, which is a shame considering the opportunities for engineers.
I can't believe there's not engineering jobs for people who have studied engineering, but I would say that there are openings around the globe. You can look in other countries as well. We certainly have been looking for engineers. So if there's engineers out there who've gotten the degree that aren't finding jobs, I'm shocked. You know, they might need to widen their search a little bit, you know, but there's absolutely opportunities.
We have a massive undergraduate programme here. We have 80 undergraduates this year in all sorts of different roles, from the manufacturing to engineering to sales and marketing. And more recently we've introduced a graduate scheme, so the best of those undergraduates get the opportunity to apply for the graduate scheme, but we also do look outside at universities through milk rounds to get the best graduates into our organisation.
I first came into Vauxhall Motors, which is obviously part of General Motors, back in 1998. I was really fortunate enough to come in as an undergraduate, and obviously that just means taking a year out during studying at university. At the time I think we called it a sandwich degree, and it meant you had a year in industry, which was just excellent. I was doing a business degree at the time. It was a marketing degree, so I had 1 year here in Luton at Vauxhall Motors. I was actually in the marketing services department. So that kind of initiated me into General Motors and gave me a chance to actually work for a year, put into a little bit of practice what we did. And it was great because there was about 40 undergraduates like me, so you're surrounded by a lot of people as well, similar minded, and obviously also on a year out for uni. And great experience of understanding the company, how it works, and also learning to work with different management styles and you're doing a real job. If you weren't there doing it, they'd have to employ someone on a permanent basis to do that job. So it was quite grounding and quite a huge amount of experience kind of that I left Vauxhall with. So that in mind, I obviously had quite a soft spot for Vauxhall and General Motors at that point. I did, when I graduated, go off and work at other places for a couple of years, obviously clearly not as good, and came back to Vauxhall, part of General Motors in 2001. And since then, it's obviously now 6 years on, I've actually done 5 different roles since then, various levels, including now the last 3 jobs in a management function. So it's just been a really good and very quick succession for me through Vauxhall.
Being called a female plant manager might be considered a slight for some plant managers that happen to be women. Being a woman and a plant manager is no stranger from being a male and a plant manager.
At General Motors, we recognise the benefit of having male and female diversity throughout the organisation. And in the past, we have had problems having enough women, particularly in management roles. We have an excellent record of recruiting women. I think 50% of our intake this year has been female. But over the years, in the past, it has been quite a masculine environment. But these days, the reason women tend to leave is around family commitments. So we are trying to get over that by introducing some more progressive policies in that area. For example, I work 3 days a week currently because I have a son who is just about to start school. And I've been able to keep my role and my responsibility, and the company's been really excellent in helping me to do that. Other people have taken a couple of years on a career break where we've just said to them, you know, go look after the family, do what you want to do. There's a job here for you when you're ready to come back. And that means that we can keep the good women with talent in the organisation.
Like many multinational companies, General Motors has a progressive approach to human resources activities and staff development. They identify staff that they know will do well and trust them to take on new tasks and responsibilities.
GM has a lot of retention policies. It depends what somebody wants from their career. You know, if you want to be travelling around the world and having experience in different locations, then in most cases you can do that. If being in your local home area is the most important thing, then they work on that as well, because everybody wants something different from an organisation. And General Motors tries to make sure that they're aware of what people want from their career before they make decisions about what the next step is.